The alarm bell screamed through every corner of Medical Station Unity 9. Nurse Maya Johnson was checking on the young patients in the children's ward when the announcement came through the speakers. Her blood went cold as she heard the words. All Thurian refugees must be eliminated immediately. They carry a dangerous disease that could kill everyone. Maya looked around the ward at the small alien children. They had been brought here just 3 days ago after their home planet was destroyed. These weren't monsters or threats. They were just scared kids who had lost everything. The youngest one, a little boy the other children called Pip, was sitting on his bed holding a torn stuffed animal. His skin was silver and seemed to glow softly in the dim light. His eyes were huge and purple, filled with fear he was too young to understand. He couldn't be more than 6 years old. "Mama?" Pip whispered in his broken English, looking up at Maya. His real mother had died when their planet exploded. Now he called every kind human Mama or Papa. Maya's heart broke. She had a daughter back home on Earth, safe and happy. Looking at Pip, she saw the same innocence, the same need for protection. Dr. James Washington, the head doctor of the children's section, came running into the room. His face was pale and his hands were shaking. "Maya, they're serious about this," he said quietly. "The council soldiers are already on their way up here. They have orders to kill every Thurian child on this station." "But why?" Maya asked, kneeling down next to Pip's bed. The little boy reached out and touched her hand with his small 3-fingered palm. "They say it's because of some plague, but I've been studying these children for days. They're not sick at all. In fact, they might be the healthiest beings I've ever seen." Heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway outside. The sound was getting closer and closer. Maya could hear the soldiers shouting orders to each other. They were checking every room looking for the alien children. Pip started to cry softly. The other Thurian children in the room began to whimper and huddle together. They could sense danger even if they didn't fully understand what was happening. Maya made a decision that would change everything. She couldn't let these innocent children die. Not on her watch. Not when she had the power to do something about it. "Come here, baby," she whispered to Pip, scooping him up in her arms. The little boy was so light, almost like holding a feather. She quickly grabbed her large medical coat from the chair and wrapped it around him. "Whatever happens, stay very quiet, okay?" she told him. Pip nodded, his big purple eyes trusting her completely. The door to the ward burst open just as Maya stepped into the supply closet. Through the crack in the door, she could see council soldiers in their black uniforms marching in. They had large weapons and their faces were hidden behind dark helmets. "Where are the alien specimens?" the lead soldier barked at Dr. Washington. "I don't know what you're talking about," James replied, but his voice was shaking. Maya held Pip tighter against her chest. She could feel his tiny heart beating so fast. He was terrified, but he stayed perfectly still just like she had asked him to. "Scan the room," the soldier ordered. Red lights began sweeping across the ward as their machines searched for alien life signs. Maya closed her eyes and prayed. The supply closet was small and dark. Medical supplies surrounded them on all sides. Pip buried his face against her shoulder, his small body trembling. The scanning stopped just outside their hiding spot. Maya could see the red light under the door. Any second now they would find them. But then something strange happened. The light moved away. The soldier's voice came from across the room. "Nothing here. They must have been moved already. Check the next section." The footsteps faded away. Maya waited several more minutes before she dared to move. When she finally opened the closet door, Dr. Washington was waiting for her. "How did they not find you?" he asked in amazement. Maya looked down at Pip, who was looking up at her with those trusting eyes. She had no idea how they had stayed hidden, but she was grateful. "I don't know," she whispered. "But this is just the beginning. We have to find a way to keep all these children safe." Outside, she could hear the soldiers moving to other parts of the station. The hunt was far from over. Maya carried Pip through the dark maintenance tunnels beneath the medical station. The little Thurian boy stayed quiet, just like she had asked him to. His silver skin glowed faintly in the darkness, helping her see where they were going. Dr. Washington led the way with a small flashlight. They had to move carefully because the metal floors made noise with every step. Above them, they could hear the heavy boots of soldiers still searching for the alien children. "Where are we going?" Maya whispered. "There's someone you need to meet," James replied quietly. "We're not the only ones who think this is wrong." They walked for what felt like hours through the twisting tunnels. Pip started to get heavy in Maya's arms, but she didn't complain. Every few minutes they had to stop and hide when they heard voices echoing through the vents above them. Finally, they reached a large door marked Storage Bay 7 Abandoned. James knocked 3 times, then twice, then once. The door opened slowly. A tall black woman with kind eyes looked out at them. "Thank God you made it," she said. "I'm Dr. Angela Davis. Come in quickly." Maya stepped inside and gasped. The old storage room had been completely changed. Soft lights hung from the ceiling. There were beds along the walls, toys scattered on the floor, and the smell of food cooking somewhere nearby. But what amazed her most were the people. There were at least 10 humans inside, all wearing medical uniforms. And sitting with them, playing quietly, were Thurian children of all ages. "How long has this been going on?" Maya asked, still holding Pip tightly. 3 days, said a man working on some electrical equipment near the wall. "Ever since the council announced their plan. I'm Tony Brown, by the way. I keep the power running and make sure we stay hidden from their scanners." Angela knelt down to Pip's eye level. "Hello there, little one. What's your name?" Pip buried his face in Maya's shoulder, still scared from everything that had happened. "He's been through a lot," Maya explained. "His name is Pip. I found him in the children's ward." "Well, Pip is safe now," Angela said gently. "Would you like something to eat? We have some fruit that tastes like candy." At the mention of food, Pip's head came up slightly. He looked around the room with his big purple eyes, taking in all the other Thurian children who seemed calm and happy. Angela led them to a corner where she had set up a small medical lab. Charts and data covered the walls. Maya had never seen anything like it. "I've been studying these children since they arrived," Angela explained. "The council is lying about the plague. These kids aren't sick at all. In fact, they're the healthiest beings I've ever examined." She pulled up some test results on a small screen. "Look at this. Their blood can actually heal injuries. When one of them gets a cut, it closes up in minutes without even leaving a scar." Maya remembered how quickly Pip had stopped crying after she picked him up. She had thought it was just because he felt safe, but maybe there was more to it. "If they can heal, why does the council want to kill them?" Maya asked. Tony looked up from his work. "Because if people knew the truth, it would change everything. Think about it, no more expensive medicines, no more people dying from diseases that could be cured easily. The big companies that make medicine would lose billions of dollars," Angela added. "So they convinced the council that these children are dangerous." Maya felt sick to her stomach. They're willing to murder innocent kids just for money? "It gets worse," Angela said quietly. "I intercepted some council communications. They're not just planning to kill the children on this station. They're going to every place where Thurian refugees are hiding and doing the same thing." The room went silent except for the soft sounds of children playing. Maya looked down at Pip, who had finally relaxed enough to close his eyes. He trusted her to keep him safe, and she was determined not to let him down. "How many children do we have here?" Maya asked. 12 so far," said a nurse Maya hadn't met yet. "But there are more hiding in other parts of the station. The problem is getting to them before the soldiers do. And getting off this station alive," Tony added grimly. "They've locked down all the transport ships. No one gets in or out without council permission." Angela put her hand on Maya's shoulder. "I know this is a lot to take in, but we need all the help we can get. These children's lives depend on humans like us who are willing to stand up for what's right." Maya nodded firmly. "What do you need me to do?" The lights in the hidden room suddenly went red. Tony jumped up from his computer, his face full of worry. "They've found us," he whispered urgently. "Well, not exactly us, but they found Storage Bay 3. That's where Dr. Lisa Thompson was hiding 6 Thurian kids." Maya's heart sank. She had met Lisa just yesterday when they were planning how to get food to all the hidden children. Lisa was a kind woman who had risked everything to save alien kids she had never met before. Through the ventilation system they could hear screaming and shouting. The sounds echoed through the metal tunnels like a horrible nightmare. Then everything went quiet. Angela's hands were shaking as she turned on her communication device. Static filled the air for a few seconds, then a weak voice came through. "This is Robert Jackson in Bay 3. Lisa didn't make it. They shot her when she tried to protect the children. The soldiers took all 6 kids. I'm hurt bad, but I'm trying to get to you." The device went silent. Angela tried calling back, but there was no answer. Maya looked down at Pip, who was sleeping peacefully in a small bed they had made for him. He had no idea that people were dying just to keep him safe. The other Thurian children in the room sensed something was wrong and started moving closer to the adult humans. "We have to move them," Maya said quietly. "If they found Bay 3, they'll find us too." "Where?" Tony asked. "I've been monitoring their search pattern. They're checking every section of the station. It's like they have unlimited time and soldiers. Angela was studying the station maps on her screen. What about the old medical waste processing area? It's been shut down for years. The radiation warning signs might keep the soldiers away. Or kill us all, Tony muttered, but he was already gathering his equipment. Commander Korvek's voice suddenly boomed through the station speakers, making everyone freeze. Attention all station personnel. We know humans are hiding the infected alien specimens. You have 1 hour to surrender them voluntarily. After that, we will begin executing one station worker every 10 minutes until the specimens are returned. The children started crying softly. Maya picked up Pip, who had woken up scared and confused. His silver skin was glowing brighter than usual, which happened when he was frightened. Mama scared? Pip asked in his small voice, looking up at Maya with those big purple eyes. Maya forced herself to smile. No, baby. Mama's going to keep you safe. But inside she was terrified. They had less than an hour to move 12 alien children and 10 adult humans through tunnels that were probably being watched. Angela was packing her research data into a small bag. If something happens to me, this information has to get out. The whole galaxy needs to know what these children really are. Nothing's going to happen, Maya said firmly. We're all getting out of this together. Tony had rigged a way to monitor the soldiers' communication channels. Bad news, he said. They're bringing in heat scanners. The kind that can detect body warmth through metal walls. Maya felt Pip's small hand touch her cheek. When she looked down at him, something amazing happened. The cut on her finger from earlier was completely gone. Not just healed, but like it had never existed at all. Angela, she called quietly. You need to see this. Angela came over and Maya showed her what had happened. Angela's eyes went wide. He healed you just by touching you, she whispered. I've seen them heal themselves, but never another species. What does that mean? Maya asked. It means these children are even more special than we thought. They could heal anyone from any planet with just a touch. The lights flickered as Tony worked frantically to disable the heat scanners. I can buy us maybe 20 minutes, he said. But after that, they'll find every living thing on this station. Maya made a decision. She handed Pip to Angela and walked over to Tony's communication equipment. What are you doing? Angela asked. Something crazy, Maya replied. She turned on the station-wide broadcast system and spoke into the microphone. This is Nurse Maya Johnson speaking to every human on this station. The Council is lying to you. These alien children aren't sick. They can heal injuries and diseases with just a touch. The Council wants to kill them because healing people for free would hurt big medical companies' profits. If you have any humanity left, help us protect these innocent kids. She turned off the broadcast and looked around the room. Everyone was staring at her. Now they know exactly who we are, Tony said. Good, Maya replied. Now every human on this station has to choose what kind of person they want to be. Maya's broadcast had changed everything on the station. Within minutes, her communication device started buzzing with messages from humans all over Unity 9. This is Engineer Davis from Level 12. I'm hiding 2 Thurian kids in my workshop. What do I do? Kitchen staff here. We've been secretly feeding alien children for days. How can we help? Security guard Johnson reporting. I can't let them hurt these babies anymore. Angela looked amazed as more and more messages came through. Maya, you just started a revolution. But their hope was short-lived. Heavy explosions shook the walls of their hiding place. Dust fell from the ceiling as the lights flickered on and off. They're blasting through the doors, Tony said, his voice tight with fear. They're not searching anymore. They're just destroying everything to get to us. Through the chaos, Commander Korvek's voice echoed through the speakers one more time. Your hour is up. We will now execute one human every 10 minutes until the alien specimens are surrendered. We start with Dr. Robert Jackson, who was found helping the infected creatures. Maya's heart broke. Robert had been trying to reach them after Lisa died. Now he was going to die too, just for trying to save children. Angela was working frantically at her computer, uploading all her research data. I'm sending everything to every medical facility in the galaxy, she said. Hospitals, universities, news networks. Everyone will know the truth about these children. Pip tugged on Maya's coat. When she looked down, he placed his small 3-fingered hand on her arm. Suddenly, she felt calmer and stronger, like he was sharing some of his healing power with her. Mama, Pip said quietly. Pip, help. Maya knelt down to his level. You're already helping, baby. Just by being brave. The explosions were getting closer. Tony was trying to redirect power to confuse their scanners, but it wasn't working anymore. They know exactly where we are, he said. We have maybe 5 minutes before they break through. Angela finished her upload and turned to face everyone in the room. It's done. Every major medical center in 3 galaxies now has proof that these children can heal any disease, any injury. The council can't hide the truth anymore. But Maya knew the truth might come too late to save the children in this room. The final blast door exploded inward with a deafening crash. Smoke filled the room as council soldiers poured in, their weapons raised and ready. Commander Korvac stepped through the smoke, his face cold and emotionless. Finally, he said, "Return the specimens immediately, or everyone dies." Maya stood up, still holding Pip against her chest. Around the room, other humans moved to shield the Thurian children with their own bodies. "They're not specimens," Maya said, her voice steady despite her fear. "They're children. Innocent children who could help heal the entire galaxy." Korvac laughed, a sound with no warmth in it. "Healing is a business, human. These creatures would destroy that business. They cannot be allowed to live." Tony stepped forward. "The whole galaxy knows the truth now. Angela sent the research everywhere. You can't cover this up anymore." "Then we'll have to be more thorough in our cleanup," Korvac replied coldly. He raised his weapon toward Tony. Maya made her choice. She gently set Pip down behind her and stepped in front of Tony. "If you want to hurt these children, you'll have to go through every human on this station first." One by one the other humans in the room stood up. Angela, Tony, the nurses, the engineers who had come to help. They formed a protective circle around the 12 Thurian children. "You can't kill all of us," Angela said. "And even if you do, the truth is already out there. Medical teams across the galaxy are probably already looking for more Thurian refugees to study and protect." Korvac's face turned red with anger. "You humans are so foolishly sentimental. You're willing to die for creatures that aren't even your own species." Maya looked down at Pip, who was holding onto her leg and looking up at her with complete trust. "That's exactly what makes us human," she said. "We protect children because it's right, not because it benefits us." The first shot rang out across the room. Tony fell to the ground, but Angela immediately took his place in the protective circle. "Send a message to every human ship in the galaxy," Maya called out to anyone listening on the communication channels. "Tell them what's happening here. Tell them that children need protection." More shots followed. Maya felt Pip's small arms around her legs as she faced Commander Korvac one last time. "The whole galaxy will remember what happened here," she said. "And they'll remember who stood up for the innocent." 5 years had passed since the tragedy at Medical Station Unity 9. The galaxy was a completely different place now. Pip, who now went by his full name Healer Pipthen, stood before a massive crowd in the Great Assembly Hall on New Geneva. He was no longer the scared little boy Maya had hidden under her coat. At 11 years old, he had grown tall and confident, his silver skin now glowing with a warm, steady light that came from inner peace rather than fear. Behind him on the wall was something that made every human in the audience feel proud and sad at the same time. It was a memorial with pictures and names. Maya Johnson's face smiled down from the center, surrounded by Angela Davis, Tony Brown, Robert Jackson, Lisa Thompson, and 43 other humans who had died protecting Thurian children. "The humans taught my people something we had forgotten," Pip said, his voice now strong and clear. "They showed us that protecting children doesn't need a reason beyond the fact that they are children." In the audience, thousands of beings from dozens of different planets listened carefully. There were humans, Thurians, Zephyrians, Cantarians, and species that had never worked together before. But they were all there for the same reason. Pip continued his speech. Maya Johnson could have stayed safe. She could have followed orders and looked the other way. But when she saw a scared child who needed help, she didn't think about the danger to herself. She just acted. A human woman in the front row wiped tears from her eyes. Next to her sat a young Thurian boy, probably about the same age Pip had been during the incident. The woman had adopted him after his family was killed in another council attack. Because of what Maya and the others did, something amazing happened, Pip explained. Angela's research data reached every corner of the galaxy. Medical teams learned that Thurian healing abilities weren't dangerous at all. We could help cure diseases that had killed people for thousands of years. The crowd murmured with interest. Many of them had personal experience with Thurian healing now. But the most important thing that happened wasn't medical, Pip said. It was human. He gestured to a section of the audience where dozens of humans in medical uniforms sat together. When the council tried to cover up what happened at Unity 9, humans across the galaxy made a choice. Dr. Patricia Williams left her high-paying job at a council hospital to open a free clinic on refugee planet Delta 7. Engineer Kevin Martinez quit the Council space fleet to build hospitals on planets that had never seen modern medicine. Each name Pip mentioned brought applause from the audience. These weren't famous people or powerful politicians. They were ordinary humans who had decided to do extraordinary things. Nurse Diana Foster was working on a luxury space station when she heard about Maya's sacrifice. She gave up her comfortable life to travel to war zones, bringing Thurian healers to help wounded soldiers from both sides of conflicts. A middle-aged black woman in the audience stood up briefly and waved. That was Diana, and she was sitting next to 3 young Thurian healers she had trained. Teacher Jerome Washington started schools where human and Thurian children learned together. Captain Michelle Torres uses her cargo ship to secretly transport Thurian families away from planets where the Council still hunts them. The applause grew louder with each story. Pip smiled, remembering how Maya used to tell him that humans were special because they cared about others. Today we have something that Maya dreamed about but never got to see, Pip announced. The Johnson Protocol. The crowd went quiet, waiting to hear about this new development. The Johnson Protocol is simple, Pip explained. Every hospital, clinic and medical facility that follows it promises to heal anyone who needs help, regardless of their species, their ability to pay or their planet of origin. Healing is not a business anymore. It's a basic right. He pointed to a banner hanging above the memorial wall. It read the Johnson Protocol Healing Through Compassion, in 12 different languages. Over 3,000 medical facilities across 47 planets have already signed up, Pip continued. They're staffed by humans and Thurians working together, just like Maya and I worked together all those years ago. An elderly human man in the audience raised his hand. Pip recognized him as Dr. James Washington, who had been there the day Maya first saved him. Yes, Dr. Washington? What would Maya think if she could see us now? The old doctor asked. Pip was quiet for a moment, thinking. Maya once told me that humans measure success not by what they gain, but by how many people they help along the way. I think she would say we're just getting started. The audience erupted in applause that lasted for several minutes. As the crowd began to leave, many of them stopped to look at Maya's picture on the memorial wall. A small Thurian child, probably brought by her human adoptive parents, placed a flower beneath Maya's photograph. The little girl looked up at the picture with wide, curious eyes. Mama, she asked her human parent, who is the pretty lady? Her adoptive mother smiled and picked her up. That's Maya Johnson, sweetheart. She's the reason you and I can be a family together.